Now, let's talk about Donald Trump and indeed Keir Starmer. He's cropping up a lot tonight, isn't he? This guy, Keir Starmer, our Prime Minister, never puts a foot right.
Under my leadership, we're going to take other countries' jobs. Did you ever hear that expression before?
Donald Trump drops an absolute bombshell on Keir Starmer on live TV. And let's be honest, Starmer kinda deserved it. But man, what was our fault? Why does the whole of Britain have to pay for Starmer's misplaced loyalty? This stupid man has gone and sent a bunch of MPs to back Kamala Harris, thinking she's got it in the bag this time. And after the results came in, well, we all know Trump isn't the type to just let that kind of over-smartness slide.
Guess what he's done now? He's sanctioned sending 100 Labour volunteers to the key swing states in America to help Kamala, the Democrat campaigner, the Democrat candidate.
Nope, he's out for revenge, and he's delivering it in his signature, no mercy, savage style. He's promising to gobble up UK jobs like they're a plate of McNuggets and slap on some brutal taxes. But how did Starmer even land the UK in this mess in the first place? And what exactly is Trump planning in his billionaire brain now? Buckle up, because I am going to explain it all in this video.
Donald Trump is furious. He accuses Labour of interfering in a foreign election, as in America's, and he's written a legal letter to an organisation called the US Federal Election Commission.
So we are smack dab in the middle of one of the biggest, awkwardest international messes that Keir Starmer probably never saw coming, and all because he decided to play the loyal buddy to Kamala Harris.
There was at least 100 sort of Labour apparatchiks who seemed to have organised a trip out to the US to campaign. They're saying that they paid their own way, that this isn't anything organised under the banner of the Labour Party.
Keir Starmer, the master of diplomacy, clearly thought what better way to solidify the UK's position than to send a small army of 100 current and former staffers across the pond to cheer on Kamala Harris. 100, because that's exactly what international relations need. An enthusiastic cheerleading squad. You know, forget about those complex trade negotiations or, I don't know, the actual pressing economic issues. What really matters is ensuring Kamala Harris feels loved and supported by 100 hand-picked UK representatives. Brilliant move, really.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by congratulating President-elect Trump on his historic election victory. As the closest of allies, the UK and US will continue to work together to protect our shared values of freedom and democracy.
But as we're now seeing, there might have been a teeny tiny flaw in this strategy. You know, the part where Trump, with his usual flair for the dramatic, decided to hit the UK with massive tariffs. Funny how those 100 people didn't exactly shield Britain from that one. But hey, at least Kamala Harris had an army of fans. Totally worth it, right? Poor Keir Starmer, the mastermind behind the UK's descent into this mess. Honestly, who could have predicted that his unmatched political strategy would land the country in such a lovely predicament? I mean, who needs careful negotiation or, I don't know, any consideration for the future when you've got Starmer's sheer brilliance at work? He's been playing 4D chess, while the rest of us are stuck in checkers.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff, and it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Donald Trump proves that subtlety is overrated. Why go for a smooth approach when you can just drop a bomb and watch the chaos unfold? He holds grudges like they're collectibles, and his idea of a comeback is more like a wrecking ball to the face. Tact? Nah, that's for the faint-hearted. Trump's all about making sure you never forget who's in charge, even if it means turning a small issue into a full-blown drama. You cross him, and he's ready to hit back with all the grace of a bull in a china shop. Donald Trump clearly loves a good plot twist. So what does he do in response to Starmer's bold diplomatic move? He responded in a classic Trump style by threatening a 20% tariff on UK goods. Oh, the timing. Just a chef's kiss. Because naturally, when you're dealing with a cheerleading squad across the pond, the most logical response is to make the UK pay for it. Literally. A 20% tariff. That's not a friendly reminder. That's a smackdown. It's like Trump saw Starmer's grand gesture and thought, let me just make sure you feel all of that enthusiasm in your economy. And this is happening when UK economists are already scrambling, running their calculators like they're about to lose their jobs.
I sat listening to the numbers, thinking this budget is illiterate. I don't know who's doing the sums, whether perhaps it's the Right Honourable Member for Hackney North, but the sums do not work, and the markets now agree with me.
A $22 billion hit was not something you can just wave off with a better luck next time vibe. Experts are sweating bullets, warning that if this tariff thing escalates, we're not looking at a minor inconvenience. Nope, this is an economic smackdown of the highest order. And let's not forget his absolutely golden campaign promises. He swore up and down there'd be no tax increases.
We will not raise tax on working people. No tax rises for income tax, for national insurance, for VAT. We will not raise income tax. We will not raise national insurance. We will not raise VAT.
Well, surprise, surprise. It turns out that those promises were as genuine as a magician's trick. Taxes go up, tariffs go up, and the UK gets caught in the crossfire of a diplomatic spectacle that no one asked for. Taxes are up, and now, with tariffs in the mix, the UK economy is heading straight for the deepest pit. Buckle up, because this economic rollercoaster is just getting started.
And now moving to China, several American companies are planning to shift their production out of China after President-elect Donald Trump's victory. Throughout his campaign, the Republican threatened to impose 60% to 100% tariffs on goods imported from China.
Trump's so-called tariff talk is way more than just a casual threat. Some folks are starting to think he's on a personal revenge mission here, and honestly, they might be onto something. It's actually a classic Trump strategy if you think about it.
We have tremendous economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe.
He's been known to use tariffs not just as economic tools, but as straight-up power moves. Back when he was in office the first time, he slapped tariffs on allies like Canada and Mexico as if he were dealing with unruly teens. In his world, tariffs in charge aren't just about balancing trade. They're a way to remind everyone who's he. Former UK Ambassador Lord Darroch even weighed in, saying Trump doesn't play when it comes to tariffs. According to Darroch, when Trump threatens, it's no empty bluff. This isn't just about numbers, it's a full-on flex.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Other countries are on high alert because if Trump pulls this with one of America's closest allies, who will say who's next? Global trade alliances are on shaky ground, and Trump, let's just say, has no problem keeping them that way if it means making his point. Now, let's talk numbers, because this isn't just a spat between two politicians. We're looking at a $300 billion annual trade relationship between the UK and the US, and Trump's tariff threat is putting us at serious risk.
Officials will be considering lots of different scenarios, but the position of the government is that we support free trade and we support the trading relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. It's a very strong, very fruitful relationship, both for us, but also for the American economy, and of course we want to protect that and strengthen it in the years ahead.
This isn't just pocket change, it's the biggest ally of UK. America is the UK's largest single trading partner. Oh, no big deal, just the backbone of the UK's economy. Forget that America is the UK's largest trading partner. Who needs that when you've got fish and chips, right? A few tariffs, no problem. It's not like those billions in trade are important for jobs, growth, or keeping things running smoothly.
If you're in private business, or if you're a pensioner, as far as Labour's concerned, you just go and do one, right? They have decided that those people won't vote for them, and they're going for those living on benefits. They're going for those working in the public sector. It's actually, if you think about it, quite divisive.
If tariffs hit hard, we're talking about industries getting slapped with prohibitive costs, the kind of costs that make exports impossible. The whole situation is evidence that when Trump drops a bombshell, he doesn't hold back. And right now, Starmer and the UK are finding out just how far he's willing to go to make his point.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
The global fallout of Trump's tariff tantrum, because it's not just the UK that'll be feeling the heat. If Trump rolls out a sweeping 20% tariff, the ripple effects won't stop at the English Channel. According to the CITP, a blanket 20% tariff could actually shave a good 7% off the global economy. We're talking about the combined economies of France and Germany. All that growth, right down the drain, courtesy of the tariff-loving Trump. And the best part? The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has already been sounding the alarm about rising global inflation and the kind of economic instability that keeps economists up at night. Trump's decision to slap tariffs on one of America's closest allies is pretty much fuel to that fire, like waving a match over a barrel of gasoline.
Yeah, everyone seems quite pleased this morning. I imagine, Brits are not overwhelmingly disposed to Donald Trump, I think, so there will be people in the wider country who aren't quite so pleased about it. But I think the challenge now is for Keir Starmer and David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, to really knuckle down and develop the relationship that they've begun to try and create with the Trump team.
And here's Starmer's little dilemma. Does he play nice and negotiate with Trump directly, swallowing a bit of pride for the sake of diplomacy? Or does he rally with the EU and try to go up against Trump's economic strong-arm tactics? It's like the ultimate choose-your-own-adventure, but with much more money and political futures on the line.
As I've said many, many times, the special relationship between the UK and the US was forged in very difficult circumstances historically. In our joint view, it's as important today as it's ever been.
Looking ahead, we're staring at a future that could rewrite UK politics as we know it. If Starmer fumbles, he's setting himself up for a massive public backlash. People won't forget his anti-Trump stance, and now he's facing a potential economic crisis because of it. This crisis might just leave Starmer forced into alliances he never planned on, or maybe, just maybe, he'll forge a partnership with Trump that's as volatile as it is unpredictable. So here we are, Keir Starmer staring down a Trump-made economic cliff, all while juggling the fallout of his own anti-Trump antics. What's next for the so-called special relationship, when Trump has tariffs on one hand and leverage on the other? Can Starmer pull off a diplomatic miracle, or will Britain end up paying the price for a rivalry it didn't ask for? With Trump back in power, one thing's clear: this isn't the UK-US relationship we knew.